I want to congratulate the GOAT, the legend, the unspeakably never talked about in any way bad basketball player that was Michael Jordan. And I'm here to talk shit about the owner, stupidity, egomaniacal, no plans to grow thoughts of Michael Jordan. Same guy who tried to give Lance Stevenson a fucking contract, thought he was going to go above 500. Extending Nicholas Batum $120 million to last 5 seasons, and then giving a dude that could barely average 35% or barely average 40 from field goal range a shot at a $56 million contract for barely producing. It's like, oh, this kid barely plays like me, but he does a bit. And then barely produced in the second season when Kyrie was fully healthy for the rest of the season and getting them to the playoffs. And then you give him $56 million even though he barely stood 5 years in the NBA. He should have been taken for cheap. Terry Rozier could have been taken for cheap. Fucking Nicholas Batum getting a max contract from averaging 9 points last season. 9.3 points and playing 75 games. His field goal percentage has gotten up. His efficiency rating has improved a tiny bit. 3-point percentage has improved a tiny bit. But 9.3 points a game, averaging 3-point, road player, 6-man percentages. After having the weakest team imaginable when you guys signed Tony Allen. Like, fucking, why? Tony Parker for a veterans deal. And then Kemba Walker playing for his life, like his life depended on, I need to make it to 8th seed. Oh, fuck me. Why is my team mediocre as fuck? Everybody knew top to bottom, this team on paper is a sub-500 team that could barely make it over to the 9th fucking seed. Barely scratching over mediocrity like the New York Knicks and Atlanta Hawks. Not the Milwaukee Bucks. Detroit Pistons and the Miami Heat. New York Knicks. And sometimes the Brooklyn Nets, because they had it off second half of the season when D'Angelo Russell and Joe Harris and Jared Allen been playing like their life depended on it when they were going above 500 and beating the Lakers twice. And now, all they did over the offseason was lose goddamn Frank Kaminsky to the Suns after trading him away so they can get their hands on P.J. Washington. And then getting a huge too huge for Terry Rozier. Do you think he's going to produce that well? When he has Smush Parker levels of skill, push him for $56 million and relying on him for a starting role, and extending Marvin Williams for some apparent reason for a veterans deal when there's obviously way better players out there for reliable contracts. Y'all could have got signed if you wanted to Sean Livingston after he got rid of, when he got rid of by the goddamn by the Warriors. D'Angelo Russell, after you knew they were going to get Kyrie anyway, or Kevin Durant, or trade for TJ Warren. Oh wait, the Pacers already got him. Just something to make this team have a bit of an identity after last season that Kemba Walker was playing like his life depended on it. And you still give these contracts, Michael, to players that don't deserve it. Why is Cody Zeller getting $72 million for 4 years? Terry Rozier $56 million for 3 years. It's another player getting $56 million. Most of these contracts won't end until 2020 or 2021 to 23. And the only people that I find above average that play well for the Hornets, or there are two guys stuck in rookie contracts still. That's Malik Monk, sometimes Marvin Williams. Nicholas Batum barely shows up half the time until Kemba Walker turns up. By God. And that kid, that rookie that was on the All-Star team. And from all of this, Miles Bridges and Malik Monk, Marvin Williams, and sometimes Bismack Boyumbo is average at best. And they are low in cap space. When they should have traded away these asshats to maybe the Cavaliers or some other rebuilding squad so they can have a bit of save cap for next season. Try to be a bit more ambitious, Michael. That didn't work when you were with the Bobcats, and then you guys changed your names back over to the Hornets after the Hornets went back to the Pelicans. What's going on here? And now you guys are now in rebuild mode when the only reasonable part you guys had was a bit of Bismack Boyumbo's stats, some wet stats. Oh my God. Come on. Let's just look up his fucking stats right now. Because if Bismack Boyumbo gets paid nearly a max deal after being a first-round pick from 2000 and goddamn 11. He spent 8 years in the NBA, and for a majority of the year, he has been mediocre and his minutes diminished. Over playing 54 games, so he barely played much of the season. He doesn't seem to be that threatening. He only averaged 4.6 rebounds. He's not there offensively. He's obviously not there hustling-wise. And their team is still the most boring and slowest and low-scoring in the NBA. He's obviously there for defensive purposes, over averaging 0.8 blocks last season, and has been a consistent 1 block guy a game. 1.8 block, 1.5 block a guy. But, dude, he's getting a near max deal. Like, this is like what you give to your franchise player. But the dude's already in his 8th season in the NBA, and he averaged poorly from board-wise, and defensively he rarely gets blocks. And he's only a 6'9" big man. 8 seasons. He's only 26. He has some up value from his height and from his defensive standards, but other than I'd rather keep Dwight Howard in this team than fucking Bismack Boyumbo, I really mean it. When Dwight Howard at least contained consistency, all it was injuries, a bit of controversy, and he doesn't seem like a bad guy to be around. He's remained consistent as a big man, especially for this new trend for basketball these days. And he's obviously shown more aggressive and played more smart over his past several seasons from his time in Houston and his time in LA. I think like he dramatically improved behavioral as a teammate and as a player. I think he's way better than he was now, and I'm sad that he's just been a huge fucking journeyman over these years. After I've been saw him 2008, my first time I saw Dwight Howard, so fucking shocks me that we keep Bismack Boyumbo in a dumbass 4-year, $72 million contract that ends until 2020. That means next year. So come this offseason, he has to do something. 4.2 rebounds ain't gonna cut it when he played 72 games last season, the season before. And the Hornets obviously are desperately needing a rebuild. So obviously they're trading away 3 guys in the coming second half of the season, or something else is going to occur, because I really don't like this Hornets team. I feel like their franchise is half-assed. Michael Jordan doesn't know what he's doing. And All of this to get rid of your decent outside shooter in Jeremy Lamb, losing a perennial All-Star in Kemba Walker, losing a decent 3-and-D guy in Frank Kaminsky, and all you keep is Marvin Williams, Nicholas Batum that barely does shit, and now overrated Terry Rozier that was only notable for being a backup for Kemba Walker? Are you serious now? And just so we can have a reminder, thanks, I made an individual video on his individual skill as a player. I'm going to go over this again, thanks to his overrated ass, and how Celtics fans already know he ain't shit. And the only person who believes this is Terry Rozier. Because, obviously, y'all don't get it. I don't give $56 million to a dude that's been notable for playing barely consistently second half of the season. His PEI is only a 10.3, and I get it. He's a role player. He's 6'1". Starter point guard. I get it. Kemba Walker is also undersized, but this is his stats for a point guard. He's supposed to be a slasher too. He's supposed to be a playmaker and a slasher. Sometimes the Celtics roll out to space the floor for either Kyrie to create space so he can find an open man for like Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, or Jaylen Brown, or Marcus Smart. Sometimes Al Horford, he'll just make space by himself and get an open three from top of the key. That's literally the Celtics offense. And then Terry Rozier comes there, fucks it all up so he can think the game revolves around him after he averaged 11 points. That was his like top season, where he was more of a threat scoring-wise, and Kyrie was injured like near playoff time. So that was him, playing only 80 games and barely starting much of them until the postseason. And then averaging 39 off field goal, that isn't that bad. Then we went in the second half. He played 79 games, and he was coming off the bench. Fucking 38.7%. Then 3-point-wise, went second to last season lowest, with a 35% from 3-point line. He's already a career low by 22%. That's pathetic. And we think of getting this guy a contract that would be fit for somebody like Chris Middleton, even though he got paid over $100 million. The Bucks don't give a fuck. It's either they're willing to make the finals or something else. I get it. These Bucks at least make the playoffs. They have decent role players, and they went over a system that benefit them by a franchise level. You barely heard of the Milwaukee Bucks marking down 60 wins back then, and now you are. I felt like this is a bit much for Chris Middleton, but at least he was a major role and he was an all-star, and has remained consistent in the teammate for the Milwaukee Bucks for the last several years. People don't even know how long Chris Middleton played. But Giannis Antetokounmpo deserves that much money. Or Brook Lopez. No, not Brook Lopez. But I thought that they went a bit much for a lot of these contracts over the season. And one of the worst points is Terry fucking Rozier. That doesn't have much except maybe his ball handling wise and him drawing fast breaks. But if he's trying to be the leader, he shouldn't think this is college basketball or the way he plays when he was in in the playoff run he had in back in the 2017-18 season. This is just atrocious. So thank you for watching. That's my thoughts on Charlotte Hornets. I think that Michael Jordan's an idiot. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I feel like these contracts are an exaggeration. A lot of these in the NBA currently are exaggerations. I wish I could make a rant video on this, but there's plenty of teams that deserve most of the discredit as Michael Jordan's contract he given to Terry Rozier and Nicholas Batum. Oh my god. Thank you for watching, folks.